Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content, billed as a Harry Potter for adults, and touted by many on Book Talk and Bookstagram as an ACOTAR hangover remedy. That's right, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 2, Ruthless Fae, chapters 15 through 25. In this section of the book, Darcy and Tori are starting to really get under the heir's skin. They've taken steps for revenge, but things are starting to get a little bit more spicy. How far will things go?
Before we get into it, we want to give you a content warning. From this point forward, there will be spoilers, major spoilers. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We are also avid fans of the Moss universe, Fourth Wing, and other popular romantasy book series. And we might accidentally let spoilers slip there as well. Sorry in advance. Like the books, this podcast is rated R. There will be smut, and there will be smut talk, and also language, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder, just please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Alright, so last we left off, Tori and Darcy were steaming things up in the fire arena as Darius fulfilled his promise to tutor Tori in fire magic. Finally. Next, we go to Darcy having a liaison session with Orion, and she can't quite concentrate on what's being said. Keeps having these daydreams.
With the way that this section of the book went, I think I would feel the same way. Orion is clearly one of my favorite characters, but, I mean, Darcy is, she's kind of bad.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's my favorite per se, but I really like him, especially by the end of this. I really, he's a good guy character up to this point.
I love how you're like, I hate him, I like him, I hate him, I like him.
It's by actions, and I leave room.
But I love it.
Except for Seth. There is no room, there's no redemption. He is just...
I only hate him more from this section of the book, too.
All right, so Orion won't let her go back to her house on her own. He makes an excuse to walk her back to Air Tower, even though she's going to the Earth Observatory because they have their first astrology class. He says he's headed that way anyway, which I love. It's such an obvious lie.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out at first if this was because they're kind of following them or if he really wanted to walk her or both. Because I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like he wants to be with her, but also they've been like weirdly following them around.
Darius is admitting that he's following Tori.
Yeah.
And this is really their first indication that Orion's been following Darcy.
I feel like they're watching for something. Like they're watching for some signal from the girls to see how they match up with like a prophecy or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, something's going on that we don't know about.
There's something that said later that also made me think.
Yeah. You mean like near the end of the section?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. You'll have to bring that up when we get there. Because I'm intrigued. So things get a little weird whenever they run into Sophia and Diego. Sophia is high on rainbow juice. And she's like, she loves him.
It reminds me of Sokka and his cactus juice. He's like, cactus juice, it's the coolentiest. That's Sophia right now. She's just so fucking high.
I love that they get high off of flying through rainbows. I'm just saying.
It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. I feel like Chrissy is trying not to be a hater right now.
I feel like if I saw her as a Pegasus, that I would probably like want to hug her and, because she's an animal.
Right.
But then she would turn into a human and I would slap her. But I don't hate her as much in this book. I'm
We were wondering.
thawing a little. I still have some resentment, but thawing a little. I mean, she still hasn't had an opportunity to really like lay it on the line for him. So we'll see.
So Tori shows up in her regular clothes. That would totally be me. I would never read the email. I'm sorry.
Same.
But yeah, she hopes that the professor isn't an asshole. We get up to class. Professor's not only not an asshole, but she's the head of the ass club.
I think it's head asshole, maybe.
Was it head asshole or head ass?
Head ass, technically.
But yeah, so which one would y'all prefer? To have a teacher who's so blatantly like, I love you, here, sit in these comfortable seats and here's some champagne and some fruit.
Don't compare it to Orion, otherwise you know what the answer is going to be.
Honestly, I think, and this is off topic, but I think Orion is pretty neutral in his teaching. Like, he gives the heirs a hard time and he gives the twins a hard time.
Yeah. Although I would like a teacher that gives me champagne, so, you know.
Okay, that's
And food. And food, yes.
Okay, that's your vote.
But telling your classmates to bow down to you?
I think I felt like I definitely would understood Darcy and Tori, because if that were me, I would be shrinking into the corner. I would want to kill her. I'd just be like, no, please do not look at me. I am not a princess. I would hate that.
But I like how Tori responds. She's like, they're going to hate us anyway, so let's enjoy it.
My anxiety doesn't understand logic. I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's just take a sip. I would still be freaking out probably. But yeah, I mean, Tori takes it in stride like she takes everything in stride, which is difficult about her character because it's cool. I like that about her character, but it feels like unrealistic a little bit. You know what I mean? She never wavers, which feels a little unrelatable.
I think she has a moment later on when she's shocked by something somebody throws at her. We'll talk about it then.
Okay, we'll have to discuss later.
So in the Earth Observatory, we learn about star bonds. The first one that they bring up is the Nebula Allies. They are people who are basically born to be your best friend. And they're also the most common. Yeah. Your Nebula Allies are people like you gravitate towards. Like, I'm pretty sure all three of us would be Nebula Allies.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we Nebula allies?
I think so.
Well, we're definitely not mates, and we're definitely not adversaries, so it's one or the other.
Well, I'm pretty sure you two already have your mate, and I'm happy unmated.
Happily unmated.
We learn that Tori is the eldest, born at 3 minutes past midnight and 11 seconds, and Darcy was born 11 minutes past midnight and 3 seconds. And so they have 3 and 11 in their star chart, and supposedly these are the strongest numbers that you could get. I don't know if you do numerology, but do you know any?
Not off the top of my head. I'm not a numerology person, but you can look stuff up about that kind of thing. But I never know what logic goes into that. You know what I mean? Like, you could, for me, tarot and Zodiac have base systems that you go off of, but I don't know where the numerology system comes from. So part of me is like, could you just make that up? I don't know.
Yeah, you know, there's that whole good things come in 3 or bad things come in 3. Well, 3 was a very strong number, and 12. I hadn't heard about 11, so that was interesting. I was like, I never heard that. Next bond mate is the Elysian mate, who thinks that this is gonna be important.
Foreshadowing.
They're the most unpredictable, and they only are between you and your perfect match. So somebody who is basically your equal, and the stars literally draw them together. Bring anybody to mind?
I don't want to give my thoughts because I feel like I am correct.
You could be.
I feel like the Elysian Mates is kind of like an asshole move by the stars, because it's not necessarily who your perfect bond is in terms of who's really best for you as a person or a fae, but literally what's going to serve the universe. Mm-hmm. So it's really like
Agreed. I honestly like the Elysian Mate bond is really weird to me, because not only do the stars push you together, basically giving you no choice in who to love, but then like once they do draw you together, you get a choice, stay with them or not. But if you choose not, then you're basically cursed forever.
You're punished.
Yeah, so there's no choice.
But it does sound like that the families and others, you can work to never meet your mate, and as long as you do that, then you can like marry somebody else.
Sort of. Since they're rare, like everybody has an Elysian mate, but it doesn't force you together until you meet them. but you don't know who your mate is. So if you want to marry, let's say, a dragon, if you only associate with dragons, then you'll never meet your mate if your mate is a Pegasus or something like that.
That's what it sounded like, is that I guess maybe they keep their kids to just this circle to where you are not going to meet someone that's not appropriate.
You do your best, but I mean, again, you don't know who your mate's going to be, so you never know.
Again, I'm reminded of the purebloods. They're just like, okay, we can only associate with these people.
Yeah, but isn't it kind of tempting fate to send them to Zodiac Academy? Because at that point, like, they're not married.
Yeah.
At some point, they have to go out into the world.
And as you heard, Kylie thinks her Sethi is her mate.
God, I would hope they get married.
You know what? I hope that he is her mate. I hope he fucking is her mate. How about that?
Me too. They deserve each other.
Yeah.
But is she his equal?
No, but I would say good for you, bitch.
I feel like he's less than her.
Damn.
I know he's more powerful, but just like, yeah, anti-Seth.
Also, before you meet your mate, a star supposedly tests you. And here it says that you have to pass the test. I have some thoughts about that I will share later on, but I want you to think about it. That it says you have to pass the test for them to have your divine moment.
That's the part that scares me because it's like, what are you throwing at me?
It sounded like cheating, and
You think it's that?
that's what it sounded like.
Like relationship tests?
Yeah.
That makes sense logically, but also the first thing I thought of was the ordeal in Crescent City. Like, you guys are gonna have to nearly die together or something like that.
I think, that too. I'm sure that's part of it.
She does mention one test possibly could be you having to save the life of your mate. There's some tests that are quite...
Yes?
Yeah.
What? Details?
Brittany's losing it.
So in the Ruthless Boys, it's only been between one person and another. Ruthless Boys is a reverse harem.
Love that. Had to explain to Johan what that was the other day. Good lord.
Yeah. And so like one of their tests was learning to share. But yeah, the tests.
So we talked about Nebula allies, Elysian mates, and now astral adversaries.
Yes. These are also rare, and they are between sworn enemies. Like, you will never get along.
I really want to know who is astral adversaries in this. It has to be, we haven't gotten here, but one of them has to be Lionel. I would assume, but I don't know who else.
I mean, they don't necessarily have astral adversaries. They could not.
Yeah.
Do you think the boys are their astral adversaries?
No.
They have to be opposite signs, right?
Supposedly. Technically, Lionel is sun. We don't know when he was born. It's more often than not, they're opposite.
What about Orion and Lionel?
He's a Libra.
Yes, he's a Libra. That's air, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's the opposite, because I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Scorpio is right next to Libra. The opposite of Scorpio is Taurus, so I'd assume it's either Aries or Gemini. It's probably Aries.
I don't know.
Who's Harry?
Of course, the girls think that the boys are their astral adversaries.
Okay, the oppositions. Let's just look at this real quick.
Also, I have to say, I love that if you choose wrong in the Elysian mate thing, you're considered star-crossed, which is yet another trope.
Yeah. Okay, it's Aries. So the opposite of Libra is Aries. So you and Orion would be oppositions. I know, I'm so sorry.
But, Lionel is Aries, so they could be astral adversaries.
Interesting. So the opposite of Gemini.
I hate to share a sign with Lionel.
The opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. Didn't Sophia say that she's a Sag?
I think so.
Yeah, but who's going to be her astral adversary?
But they don't necessarily have to be oppositions, and even if you are oppositions, it doesn't mean that you will be.
I just thought it'd be fun to look up.
Yeah, it's funny. There is, again, in the Ruthless Boys, two of the harem, their fathers were astral adversaries, and they assume that they are too. But it does say with the astral adversaries that you will hate them so much that literally one of you will kill the other.
Oh, yeah.
And that relationship will not end in anything but death.
That's what I thought for Orion and Lionel.
You going down, Lionel? Yeah. You going down.
Hopefully so. I was watching Brittany's face to see.
I haven't read the last book, so...
So he's still alive up until then.
Lionel is alive. That's disgusting.
I thought he was going to die at the end of this book.
At the end of this book?
Maybe.
Chrissy was like,
I realize how silly that is now that you say it like that.
great. I'm sorry, Christy, for laughing at you.
He's Voldemort.
This is our Voldemort. He is the one who must not be named.
He is not, I mean, let's just say he's not the last bad guy.
I mean, we figured that with the Fae, though.
Yeah, should have known. All right, so adversaries.
Yeah. After class, Darcy and Diego are headed back to Air Tower, and she realizes she left her atlas back in the classroom, so she heads back alone. Diego doesn't want her to go.
This is a recipe for disaster immediately, and she should have known that.
It's like a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say this. Have y'all noticed how many times Diego objects to what they want to do?
Mm-hmm. And especially going alone.
But then doesn't
Uh-huh.
force them. Like, he's like, okay, well, be careful,
He's like, be careful, but I'm not going to go with you.
chica.
When they wanted to go to the library, oh, I don't think you should do that. When she wanted to go back and get her atlas, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do this. I'm like,
It's like, Diego, do you ever have fun, bitch?
Right?
How about you fucking do it?
great. Darcy arrives just as Zenith is leaving, and the classroom lights are off. It's all dark. She makes it over, gets her atlas, and the elevator opens. Dun dun dun.
So, this reminded me of what we said last episode, which is we were talking about the nymph has to be someone who shapeshifts, right? Or that's what we theorized at this point.
Yeah.
Which it seems like that's the most likely case because where and how did they get in there? And this is addressed afterwards whenever she's talking to Orion and telling him what's going on, and Orion goes to Principal Nova, and Nova immediately says, how did they get in there? Did they never leave? Did they get in through the ceiling? Did they leave through the ceiling? Whatever. But it just immediately reminded me of that conversation because who are they? Who is this nymph?
Either a student may be letting the nymphs onto campus,
Mm-hmm.
or it's a student,
Yeah.
and we don't know.
Like Throne of Glass. Remember? Somebody was like summoning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. So that's true too.
Sorry, we just ruined Throne of Glass for you too, but we told you.
Sorry, spoiler. We warned you.
So no one was in the elevator that she saw, but she heard these scuttling noises, runs for her life, gets into the elevator, uses her magic to shut it, and then runs into Orion, who just conveniently is waiting downstairs.
But you know what? I'd be so glad to see him.
Oh yeah. I would probably jump into his arms right there.
Chrissy's laughing at me, but I'm just being honest.
Orion heads up, and then Darcy runs for help, but Orion comes back, talks to Nova, calls the FIB, and the hunt for nymphs begin. But Orion has to take Darcy back to Air Tower first, and they have quite the conversation.
Oh yeah, the first time he says it.
See, I was about to. That's like several times. No, don't look at me. No, you don't look at me.
Yeah, the first time he's like, stop it. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, stop. And she's like, well, then you stop.
And she uses his name for the first time.
Lance.
Lance.
The best thing about being an audiobook listener for this one is you get all the sass.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not for the best. Case in point, the Caleb chapter that follows this is pretty funny for an audiobook reader. But I don't think it would hit the same if you were just reading it physically. But I love listening to the sassy parts.
I don't know. Like there's the sass like in my head. Like a lot of times I notice I will project things onto them that are not even in.
Oh yeah.
Now that you brought up the audiobook, I do want to talk about real quick the ebook and the book. They I recently learned that they have the powers symbols over the characters' names. In the ebook and the chapter, they get these little symbols above their name.
Yeah.
And then the book has this beautiful gray chapter drawing.
It's really pretty. It's like a divider almost.
Really pretty, but it makes it hard to read for some of the words.
Whoever designed the book didn't do a great job. Sorry.
The other thing I learned recently is that the symbols above the name are in the order of weakest to strongest.
Oh, interesting.
With finals, he has air, fire, dick. His strongest power is his dickishness.
Is it his dickishness? Or is it his ability to fuck everybody?
Oh my god. I'm sure God, yes.
It'll happen later, but I don't know if that's really his superpower because Lord knows the lady he was with certainly had enough strength and wherewithal to have a fucking conversation.
Oh my god.
Doesn't seem like he's too hot in the sack if,
Stella! It's a good point. It's a good point. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be talking. Not that much.
We'll talk more about that later, definitely.
Oh man.
Okay, so Darcy storms off after telling Lance off. Tori is loath to wake up in the morning. It's rainy, it's early, but, her payback plan requires it. So she goes to the woods, digs up some of the gold, pockets the dagger as well, didn't even mean to do that, and then runs into some wolves.
Okay, I don't know about y'all, but when I was at that part of the book, I was genuinely very scared. I was like, they're gonna find her. They're gonna find her getting the gold and the whatnot. Like, I thought for sure she was a goner. And then nothing happened. I thought for sure. Why are you making a face? Why are you making a face? Is there something I need to know? Is there something we missed?
Nope.
I don't know. She's still looking.
I don't know. I know. I'm like, what do we need to know? I'm scared.
And then Seth appears and pees on her.
Oh, this. I forgot that's here. I was enraged.
Yeah.
Enraged.
Oh, yeah.
I put down the book and was like, what the fuck? I was so blown. I don't know. Something about that is so fucking...
Like, not only him, but...
Yeah.
And they don't talk about it enough. They do not come back to this enough. It's brought up later like, oh, he peed on her. It's like, this is like a violation of the nth degree.
They posted on Facebook too.
Yeah.
For all the school to laugh about. And ruined her new clothes. She just got new clothes.
Yeah. Forget the clothes.
Yeah.
I know. Again, with his obsession with their hair. Like, I was gonna get a matching set, but...
What a freak.
We need you in one piece for the party.
I'm telling you. BTK.
BTK? Oh my god. BTK? Oh god.
Alright, so Tori returns, showers for over an hour, burns her clothes. She wants to back out of the party at this point. I don't blame her. But she also wants Darius to continue training her. And she's missed breakfast. Everybody's out. She pockets the gold and the dagger. Thankfully manages to leave the dagger behind, because if you remember earlier, Orion said that he can sense it, and she's headed to his class. But she goes upstairs and breaks into Darius's room again and leaves a coin on his pillow as a welcome back, fuck you. What do y'all think about her also breaking into Milton's room?
Oh, yeah. That was beautiful. Did we get a reaction from Darius?
No. Like, I don't think they never mention that I remember him reacting to that coin being left on his pillow.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Milton.
I was thinking of the watch.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So she plants this gold in Milton's room, and I love that it's Milton, even though if she really thinks about it, or if Darius really thinks about it, Milton was with him the night his room burned down. And Tori knows that. I mean, I know why she picked him, because he posted naked photos. I just didn't understand what her thought process of getting away with it would be.
I think she knows that when it comes down to it, Darius is not going to err on the side of common sense when he feels betrayed, that he's just going to go for it and then probably realize later, once he's taken Milton's head off, that it couldn't have been him.
Yeah, I think she thinks that he's gonna just kind of blindly rage like he did when he found out the gold was gone.
And this isn't ever mentioned. This is my theory. Earlier they mentioned Xavier is a Pegasus and they poop glitter, grant wishes, and are cute. For dragons, I think one of their special abilities, because all the orders have a special ability, I think his special ability is the ability to look at gold or treasure or jewel and know like its worth right away, know what era it's from.
You think that's your theory?
That's
or
my
is it
theory.
revealed?
They never say it.
Oh.
Because there's many times when he has, in the future, he will look at something and be like, that's 20th century dang, or
That's a Victorian
Ming Dynasty.
candelabra. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like Ming Dynasty. I want it. He's also very driven to steal that as well.
I am also very driven to steal it. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. But yeah, that is my theory of that's what dragons' special powers are, is that they can look at things and know the worth instantly.
It's not a bad theory.
The suck power, though.
Well, they also can turn into dragons and fly and, burn people.
I mean, that too, but like... special power. Like, you would think they would have, like...
I don't think that's a bad power. It keeps them powerful and it keeps them wealthy.
Yeah. And Pegasus
Pretty sure
granted
burning their adversaries is what
Yeah, that works too.
keeps them... I
Yeah.
would think they're, like, cloaking or something. Like an invisible cloak.
I love the little exchange between Orion and Tori when she finally heads to class and he's like cutting it a bit late. And she's like, so are you. I made it for you. Still. And then I love that it comes to her that he is a vampire. He could make it to class on time if he wanted to. He chooses to be late.
I love that we see so much more of his personality in this section. He's so delightful.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He's really funny. He's like a cooler Xander a little bit.
Oh my God, yes.
Never mind.
Xander?
He's from Buffy.
Oh.
As soon as I said
Damn.
that, I was like, whoa.
You looked in my eyes and I was vacant. I was like, what? That's how I felt saying the Sokka thing. I was like, damn it, Christy doesn't get the Sokka thing.
One day.
All right.
One day we will all... Okay, anyways.
We don't get much of that class, and we quickly move on to tarot class where Washer is still the teacher.
Oh, God.
He makes an offer to the class that he needs a top up, and he said if anybody wants to unload their feelings.
The way I cringed so fast whenever Tori volunteered or sacrificed herself.
Sacrifice.
He's going to sacrifice himself! No, Ron, you can't!
So they also keep pulling the death card first for some reason. And again, it's the same card that Astrum left them. It's the same card that Diego pulled earlier. And then they're looking at all the decorations on the wall and there's the constellations. And we finally get to learn the meaning between what's between Leo and Libra. It's not Orion and Darius.
Right, it's space between Leo and Libra in the room.
Yeah, there's a drawer.
There's a drawer.
You know, I feel like Astrum is really trying to screw the world with this.
He could have made it so much easier.
Are you fucking kidding? Like, where these cards are found is just like...
Go to my classroom, Leo and Libra, drawer, open.
Well, not even that. Put the shit all together somewhere, you know?
Don't hide it.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Yeah, some of the cards, I was like, are you kidding?
Yeah. So in the drawer is another tarot card and a photo of a strange man with no name, no identifying marks. They're both like, how are we supposed to find this man?
Yeah, not very helpful, Astrum.
Mm-mm. No. I mean, I feel like unless maybe it was set up in a way, Brittany would know this, that he kind of knew the future hard enough to know they're going to be here at this time doing this. It's likely that,
So
then maybe I could see it.
he is a seer.
But isn't he like not a very good one?
Washer is not the very good one.
Astrum was good at what he did.
Yeah.
That's why
I
he
thought
was...
somewhere it was like...
And he was friends with their mother, who was the most powerful seer of her generation.
I wonder if she saw it.
And he did say that he was not as good as her, but he is a good seer. So she could have had a hand in it. It was her tarot deck.
I know, right? Me too.
It is an interesting idea that she could have had a hand in it, because why does she have so many death cards? There's
Fucking
only
handing
one.
that shit out.
Well, they didn't say there was multiple.
They just keep pulling the same one, but I thought it had a message on it.
It did. Darcy says she had the card on her, but the tarot deck that they opened was brand new. She didn't know how it got in there, but it was the one from their mother's deck.
Magic.
Oh, it also says, ask him what happened to Clara Orion 4 years ago.
Yeah, and we do get to that later.
Yes. Question. When you first saw this, what did you think who Clara Orion was? The girls had this immediate Lance Orion? But who did you think she was?
I figured it was probably a sister or something.
I assumed mother.
Possibly, yeah. But I thought we read somewhere about, like, his mother.
Probably so, and I'd probably just forgotten.
I think I mentioned his mother.
I was thinking it might have been mentioned when we first see the conversations between Darius and Orion when they go back to the house. I thought maybe his mother was mentioned there.
I don't remember. Could be. So Sophia and Diego don't know who this strange man is either. And they kind of give up because they have no way of contacting him to see what it is. And, Tori suggests asking Orion, but Darcy's like, nah, he never gives me straight answers.
If only they'd asked.
But how would he have reacted if she just randomly came out in the blue? Hey, your sister, who's missing?
Oh, no. If
Jerry.
only they'd asked Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Jerry, If only they'd shown her the picture.
Did they call her Jerry in there, or did I just like...
No, you came up with that.
Okay, so I'm just nicknaming her.
There's
All right.
one character who calls her Jerry.
It better not be Seth, son of a bitch. Is it Seth? I knew I hated that asshole.
Oh my gosh. That's
All right,
perfect.
my little Jer Bear. There we go.
Needs a new
Oh my
name
gosh.
that's untainted by Seth.
I never said it was Seth.
Yeah, it's a laugh, pretty much did.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
I'll go ahead and promise you it's not Seth.
Oh, it's not. Is it somebody I'm going to hate even worse?
What if it's Sophia?
I don't know.
All right, so for right now, I'll go with Jer Bear.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right. Very exciting delivery comes to Pluto offices, and the girls race down there to pick it up. But there's a long line. Takes them a while to get out. They head to Earth House and to Caleb's room, which is at the top of this underground hill. I know you said that's your worst nightmare. I don't know if I could live underground.
I don't think I could do that.
Okay, explain it. At the top of an underground hill. So people live under the earth, and he actually lives where you can see the top.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it easy to get to his room then?
I mean, clearly.
You just like...
I mean, they got right to it. Yeah, they found it immediately.
So yeah, Tori pries open the window, and Caleb comes back from pitball practice in the middle of this.
They're ogling him.
Like, I didn't mean to see him naked, but my finger has to hold the window, so, nice ass. And then they blow up the doll while he's in the shower and leave it on his bed. And we get his reaction.
Oh my god, that was great.
This chapter will go down in infamy.
I thought it was just going to be a Pegasus doll.
Me too.
And then they just kept adding.
But they kept going. I was like, okay, this is pure satire at this point. I'm not even reading
And the amount of holes
just a novel.
in this doll.
The amount of
The gaping butthole and the mouth.
that hole killed me. And the way that the narrator in the audiobook said it so fucking monotone.
Oh, really? Oh my god, I had a
I
great
played
time.
it for Johan. It's gaping asshole. I fucking lost it. I lost it.
What in the fact that he is bunny bumping this thing out the door, and you're like, are you kidding?
Right? Like,
I'm just picturing, you know? And so if he's also, the towel drops, he's also naked. Skin against that, it has to be squeaking.
Yeah.
It has to be like,
oh my god.
When I listened to this, I was crying. I was laughing so hard. And every time I listened to it, like I re-listened to it twice more.
I had to keep rewinding because I was laughing.
It's still one of the most hilarious chapters ever.
Because you can so viscerally see it. You can viscerally see it. It's so, like, comical.
And not only does he do all that, but he calls the entire house to come witness.
He's like, who did this? And then essentially creates a giant fucking arena of people watching him.
and provides a show.
And then, thank you, Tyler, as well, for videoing that.
I'm starting to like Tyler.
Yeah, same. He's starting to become one of my favorite characters at this point.
Well, Terra House is his house. So he got...
And he's a Pegasus.
Was it front or was it back view at that point? I think we were on the ass end of the horse this time. Yeah.
You said that so seriously. I lost it. I lost it whenever at the end it's kind of like almost over, and he said something about its horsey mouth, and I was like, I can't fucking do this. I can't fucking do this. Oh god.
my god.
It's so disgusting and weird, but so funny
I love that it had a full-on tail, too.
that you can grip.
Yeah. Oh, it had lots of features.
Oh man. Oh man.
And I loved it when you came to me and you were like, how is Tyler not dead?
I know. How is he not dead?
a great
Or
question.
horribly maimed?
Yeah.
Because he will tag these people.
Yeah. Oh, and the tags that he puts on it are so funny.
Pegasus.
Yeah.
I forget how she pronounces
Wait,
it.
I can pull it up real quick. Oh my gosh.
That was funny, yeah. But I did. I thought
Okay.
I was like, you're...
Some like theirs horsey style, ride 'em cowboy, secrets out, pull on my tail baby, getting some Pegasus ass.
I think the pull on my tail baby was the one
Yeah.
I sent you.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Oh my gosh. And I think I agree with Tori that they need to learn some better lock.
I agree. You think at this point?
Oh man. It was one of the best moments of this entire series.
Absolutely. Although I felt like, maybe this is wrong, but I felt like if anyone deserved it, it wasn't Caleb up to this point. Up to this point. Out of all of the shit the heirs have done, you know?
His comes to fruition the quickest.
But I was, and I may be jumping ahead a little bit, I was a little disappointed with Seth.
Same, but I have a feeling something else is coming.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be disappointed.
Not necessarily with what they did, but that it hasn't been as impactful so far as I would like.
Yeah, I think we have not seen the end of it.
I thought at the end of the reading that we would see
Remember
a large party reveal.
the last episode we talked about the werewolves have special needs. They have to have their pack around them or they go crazy. And they won't have anything to do with him. He even howled and they wouldn't answer his howl.
Yeah.
It is, but he still seemed perfectly in form at the party.
I think he's starting to lose it. I think he's starting to break.
It takes a minute.
Okay, so wait for it.
Next section.
I feel like it's a delayed gratification.
Also, and I know we're skipping ahead, but the flea bites aren't just normal flea bites. They are burning, itching, intense, supernatural fleas.
Basically crabs.
I would just like to see more itching.
And you're like, I want him to suffer.
So Tori and Darcy run back to the orb. They burn the evidence, which, I think good call.
Yeah.
Very good call.
Yes.
Very good call.
Because Caleb is so angry that he shatters his atlas.
I mean, I think I would too if I were him.
You wouldn't enjoy the Pegasus?
I think it was unreasonable for him to hear that ping after what just happened and go, this must be good news.
Right? That
emotional.
shows you the delusion. Yeah, the delusion that they are under, that everyone loves them and how it's breaking. That was a good moment. And he was like, oh, it would be good to read some messages about how hot I am.
Sorry. I was just reading to your Seth's point of view.
Oh Lord, we're almost there.
So it's pouring, temperatures dropped. Darcy has air elemental. She is worrying about blue or green.
Oh my god.
Oh, Orion, what would he like better, blue or green?
She does consider dyeing it sunshine yellow because it will remind her she's a badass.
Dummy.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. In what world does sunshine yellow mean that?
Let's remind ourselves that Darcy doesn't make the smartest decisions. Let's just remind ourselves of that. I don't think sunshine yellow is necessarily the answer here. There's nothing wrong with the color.
There's nothing wrong with the color. It's just
no, Darcy. No.
Anyway, she heads to the orb. There's some big commotion going over by the couch, and it's Seth picking on Diego.
I don't even remember this part of the book very well.
Seth has Diego on his knees. He's got his beanie
Right.
dangling it in the air, and Darcy goes to help him. Geraldine says, you can't interfere. And in fact, she actually goes to do it, and Caleb holds her back.
Which is interesting.
Can I just say that it's interesting that he knows Darcy from Tori by the scent of her shampoo?
If you didn't know, Caleb has it bad.
Caleb has it bad.
Even at this point in the book.
But now for this, it starts because they were like, Diego started it.
Because he wouldn't bow.
Right. So he didn't start it. Seth started it.
No, Seth started.
Right.
But the fact that they say he started it because he refused was some bullshit.
It is bullshit, but they're living in the delusional world where they're kings.
But I was still disappointed in Diego's.
Yeah.
Every time they step in to help him,
He's looking like a little bitch a little bit.
he ditches them.
Yeah, he kind of abandons her
Again.
and Darcy gets a elbow to the cheek, and surprisingly, Seth seems a little distressed by that.
So Seth heals her there, and
Later on.
later on he heals her after this happens, and he's like, oh, you weren't supposed to be a part of it. And I talked to you about this a little bit, and I'm ashamed to admit, if Seth was not a piece of shit, I think I would really enjoy his character, like for all the other things that come with his character. But if he was not like pissing on people, and even with the fucking weird orgies, okay, if he was not pissing on people and being an absolute freak, he has potential. God, but there's no saving him.
No, there's not.
There's nothing you think he can do to
No.
redeem himself?
No.
I'm sure that I'm sure that somewhere down the line there's going to be moments where he's supposed to be redeemed, or at least there's going to be moments where the reader is supposed to feel sympathy. But if we just really remember what he's done is pretty fucking shitty.
I think the only time he would do something to look redeemable would be when it was in his best interest. Even when we see it from his point of view, he is still an asshole.
Darius tried to drown Tori. Y'all think he might be redeemable.
But Darius has also had so many interactions with Tori that are not trying to kill her or be an asshole, or there are not many interactions we've had with Seth up to this point that are not self-serving, whiny, just the worst. Like, I can't think of a scene with him thus far where he's not being, an asshole or selfish.
And the thing is, for Darius and Caleb, they've both made it clear that they really don't want to be doing this. This is not what they want to be doing. It's something they either have to do because of they're afraid of their world crashing down or from parents or whatever else. And Seth just does this shit for fun.
Yeah, even Max, we saw a glimpse that he doesn't really love this either.
Yeah.
We have not gotten that perspective from Seth yet. Maybe it is somewhere in there, but it's buried deep. It's buried very deep.
He just enjoys it too much.
So Seth is goading Diego to fight back.
Right.
And Diego uses what meager magic that he can to do it. And Seth calls him a mortal. And the crowd starts chanting, "Kill the mortal."
Yeah, not a good look for the Fae. Reminds me of Halloween Town.
And of course, Orion steps in after Seth accidentally knocks her in the face, yells at everybody, threatens them, takes house points from Seth, and takes Darcy's hair back.
Hot.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I like the fact that Seth is just so appalled that he's getting into trouble, that he's...
Yeah, I'm glad he's getting in trouble.
So Orion now has the hair and Diego's beanie. He took house points. They all head out to class. And Sophia and Tyler show up to taunt Caleb a little bit.
You love this part of it.
I love this part.
Where they shake their little tushies.
They're like, Caleb, don't you want some of this Pegasus?
Seriously, how is Tyler alive?
Seriously.
And Tori and Darcy are laughing at them, and Caleb runs after them with his vampire string. Darius flies after them.
Which I said this to Brittany in passing while I was reading, but every time Caleb speeds with his vampire speed or whatever, it just reminds me of Twilight. I just think of that scene where she's like on his back and he's like racing through the forest at like top speed and it looks so goofy. That's what I imagine for Caleb, and I can't take it seriously at all. Just think of him running. I can't.
Diego asks Orion for his beanie back. Orion responds with the middle finger.
Give it back to me, por favor. Please, senor.
He never gets it back, does he? So far.
I don't remember. I just wish they wouldn't write him that way.
Seth called him Chico.
Damn, Chico. These fucking people.
So we next get to meet Professor Perseus, who is the air elemental class teacher. And this man is like the meekest person on the planet.
Professor Flitwick.
Nobody will listen to him. And Tori and Darcy are the only ones who are like, yes, teach us, please.
Yeah.
And they learn air shields.
Finally, they need to learn something.
Yeah. And fucking Max with his, oh, now it's getting hard.
Oh my god. Children.
They are. And then this, of course, is, Seth has his pack around him. They're trying to cheer him up. Kylie's watching and she's getting pissed.
She's jealous. Yeah.
Well, that's what I asked Brittany. I was like, does she understand that he does like the orgy thing with him?
I think so.
I think she's deluded herself enough to believe that he only sleeps with her.
You think?
I think she has.
Oh, wow.
Just like I think Marguerite deludes herself that she and Darius are getting back together.
Fair. I just assumed that she would understand the dynamics of him being a werewolf probably comes with stuff like that. Or it seems to be implied it comes with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just Seth. Could just be fucking Seth.
It sounds like it's everybody.
It's everybody. There were orgies in other wolf packs and other books.
Okay, yeah. So you would think she would know, but
Sethy.
Sethy. That should be like an insult for us. We can call people Sethy.
The other thing is, like, after Seth heals Darcy and he walks away, and Kylie's like, what are you talking to the Vega twins about? Like, he's gonna answer you.
Why is he still dating?
Probably because he can use her for something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, she's there when he doesn't have anyone else, and he really,
I also do love
I'm sorry.
Like the time she wrapped vines around Orion's neck and pulled him back, she did the same thing to Seth.
Yeah.
Even though he decided to not, he'll just let himself get choked because, clearly he has a
He's got
kink.
issues. Yeah.
Diego didn't go to class. He didn't show up to dinner.
Interesting.
Did he not? I didn't miss him.
I didn't note it either, but I think in terms of Diego, we've gone back and forth with him a lot. We've gone from what's going on with him to we don't like Diego to we do like Diego to what's going on with him. I don't know. I wish they would get to it.
I don't really like or dislike him. He's just removable for me at this point.
Yeah.
He's superfluous.
Yes, his character seems a bit unnecessary, but I think that he's going to be necessary later. Or what if he's the person letting the nymphs in? Or he is the nymph, and that's why he doesn't have powers.
That's true. Ooh, that's true.
Well, I mean, he has air powers.
Yeah, but so do nymphs. They've got little bits of power.
If they steal
If
it
they
from
steal
a
them.
person.
Yeah, but I think nymphs are good, though.
I was saying, I know y'all's theory about nymphs being good.
Yeah. Or at least the heroes.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if they're good, but I just feel like there's something else with them.
So Darcy's prowling air tower, trying to look to get into Seth's room, but there's a guard, so she decides to sit in the common room for a while. In comes Seth and his orgy, and she's like hiding in a chair in a window, and they're all like, Seth, why are you so upset? Can I do something to make you feel better? What about this?
He's so mopey.
He's such a whiny bitch.
I love that Darcy's like, is his life so perfect that something minor makes him so upset?
Yeah, until she finds out why he's so upset, which we see not long after the orgy. Yeah.
So we do get to meet a couple of his wolves, sort of. We get to know their names. There's Ashanti, Alice, Frank, Letitia. So she sneaks out of the orgy in the common room, goes back to Seth's room. His room is spotless, and in comes the orgy. So she hides in the closet like a dumb idiot.
Classic.
And Seth ends up fucking Ashanti against the closet.
Of course.
And she has to watch.
Of course, it wouldn't be smut unless there was something ridiculous and gratuitous, right?
Yeah.
And I love after he catches her, the other wolves are still having the orgy while they're having the conversation.
Yeah.
And he's just like, whatever. Normal day.
It is what it is. He's used to it. Remember when he was like, what if she wakes me up with a blowjob? That'd be cool. He's just like so used to it.
He confesses that he made her part of the pack by accident. He didn't know it was real, and it's now screwing with his instincts because he feels the need to protect the person he's supposed to screw with.
And she's the lowest on the tier, right? So she has to be protected because she's the lowest. It's just so funny and cringy in a way. You guys don't read fan fiction, but there's a whole sector of fan fiction that is called Alpha, Beta, Omega Dynamics, and it's like that, where it's usually the Alpha and the Omega are the mated pair. Sometimes a Beta is involved, but people eat that shit up. It's kind of like Dom sub play, but with a weird like feral kind of kink added in and breeding and like a bunch of things like put together. But it is very similar to this.
But explain this to me. She's not a werewolf. So he could just go around adding whoever to his pack.
Apparently, he did not know this either.
So then, but it never happened before?
Interesting.
It has, honestly, but in a different way. So he's Alpha, and he initiated her as an Omega. In the Ruthless Boys, there is a pack of werewolves, and their Alpha is a dragon. He was just born into the werewolf clan, and he happened to be a dragon, just like Xavier happens to be a Pegasus. But he's their Alpha, and so I guess they didn't have that same weirdness where his alpha instincts are telling him that he needs to protect her. She says it. She does not feel any kind of connection to them. So it doesn't affect her at all. It's only affecting Seth as the alpha.
I would think it would have to happen both ways. Like you would have an acceptance of the pack.
Well, that's the initiation. She has to please him or challenge him, and
She can't challenge him yet.
But what if she just never chooses to do either?
then he will go crazy. Which is why I'm like, why didn't...
Chrissy's like, that sounds good.
Yeah, I like that.
His instincts will drive him to try to initiate her, and without her consent, it will literally drive him crazy. And I'm just like, you one-upped him and you didn't even have to try.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know why he would even think that she would consider helping him. And of course, they're in the hall. He's like, you have to please me. Pleasing is easiest.
Well, what if she does and she becomes initiated? Then she can never get out.
Then he can kick her out as the alpha. That's if he wants to. And again, she doesn't feel the need to play a certain role. She doesn't have wolf instincts. But he's in the hall with her, telling her, you have to please me. Pleasing me is the easiest way to be initiated. And she plays along and starts tugging on his hair. This is where I'm like, oh, you definitely have a...
Oh, Darcy? Well, sometimes hair pulling is a little different from
Ripping it out.
Yeah, like pain. It doesn't have to be pain. Brittany's like, I know other things. Okay, Seth, I see you.
But he pushes it, though. He starts to make it where it's not really her choice.
Well, yeah, he thinks that she's agreeing to please him by her, like, playing along, and then she yanks his hair out, and she's like, I'd rather never have sex again than sleep with you one night.
Ooh, I wonder if he likes that.
Well, she's a challenge now, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't think he's one of those. Darius, someone like him, or like Caleb, they seem to like a challenge and they're willing to wait for it. I don't think Seth likes waiting. I don't think he likes really the challenge.
I wonder if he likes being belittled, though. Sorry, maybe I went too far.
Not at all.
The alpha instincts in him does drive him to mate with somebody who is his equal.
Well, then he shouldn't be mating with her. She's above him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hitting up
let's
the
hope
local
that's
ant
correct.
colony.
Let's hope you are right.
So Seth goes back to his orgy. He's no longer in the mood to fuck anybody. They try to bring him back in, and he starts feeling a little itchy. He gets a little stingy, and he wonders if the maid washed his sheets with the wrong crap. I know, right?
Fucking.
He's like, God, I
Blaming it on
fucking
her.
told her before.
Then Letitia's like, flee! Run! And Frank's like, sorry, I can't get fleas before midterm.
Oh my god, that was funny.
And of course, that leaves Seth all by himself, and he's just like panicky because he can't be alone.
That's where they ditch him, and that's where we felt like at first it wasn't enough. But I know more is coming. I know more is coming.
They can't get rid of the fleas on their own. They have to be magically potioned flea dipped.
Oh my gosh, they gotta get a flea bath? Oh no.
And she has his hair and the Aquarius moonstone, and I wonder, like, if he got the flea dip and then added another hair, if she could just continue to summon the fleas to him.
But it's time to talk about
The
party.
Yes. Tori is in her room getting ready, or sort of, she's not wearing the dress that Darius bought her, which I know you really wanted, Christy. And he shows up, Darcy's late, and Darius is like, I like this dress better. Tori's like, oh, so you're gonna stick to this whole being nice thing?
He gives it a good go. He does try, mostly.
So Darcy is at the orb with Orion, who is apparently coming along with. I love her. She ran into your bestie who said that he can't bear to be apart. So he's coming with. And she tricks him into confirming the guardian bond.
Yeah.
And he's like, who told you?
You just did. I don't know. I thought that was kind of stupid because where would she find that out? You know what I mean? So I think that was very ballsy of Tori, but it seemed to work fine.
Though, as Darcy said to Seth, they do know how to use the library.
Fair.
Milton Huber is in the common room, and he's wearing a new gold watch that Tori bought him and delivered to him anonymously. And it's worth a whole lot of money. And of course, Darius is noticing it.
I thought that there was going to be more to that, but there wasn't. Or maybe there will be later.
I was going to say, do you think is he going to explode on Milton? Is he going to think it through and be like, no, Milton was with me?
Well, my question is, okay, wait, did Tori plant the gold watch? She gave him a gold watch.
She gave him the gold watch.
So what did he do with the gold is the
It's
question.
hidden under his mattress. So as far as we know, Milton doesn't even know it.
So I was wondering, I was like, what happens when Darius finds that gold?
I think he's going to be a little kebab.
Roasted Milton.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Marguerite. She gives me a headache. I just want to slap some fucking sense into her.
Again, ex-best friend named Marguerite. It fits.
Darius has a fiance, and she's still telling people that they're gonna get back together and get married, and he's truly in love with her.
They should introduce her to Mildred.
They should.
Yes, there
They
you
should.
go.
Mildred is a time.
Oof.
In the council meeting, Lionel does say that they're thinking about having her transferred to Zodiac Academy.
No, he says that, I
Yeah,
think,
he
yeah.
does.
Which cracks me up. But also, he kind of gives Darius, he seems like, he kind of says to Darius, it doesn't matter who you fuck, as long as marrying and having babies with the right person, I guess.
Well, you already know that he's fucking other people other than his wife.
Should have seen that one coming. I mean,
So Seth, Max, and Caleb are also coming. They're all in tuxes. Caleb's the only one that actually comes up and greets them, kisses them both on the cheek, a little closer to Tori's mouth than Darcy's.
Caleb, you dog.
And then Orion uses Stardust to whisk them away to Acrux Manor.
I was kind of surprised that he did that because I thought it was like, ooh, that's precious. You don't want to use too much of it.
It is, but not to the dragons. They can make it at
They
any
can make
time.
as much as they want, right?
So Tori stumbles when she lands, and Darcy ends up in Orion's lap.
It's so rom-commy, but so good. So good.
Predictably clumsy as always, Blue.
If I was near Orion, I would also be predictably clumsy.
But Trip.
Oh no, looks like I ended up in your lap again. So sorry. Well, oops, I did it again. I'm so sorry.
So they see this estate, the Acrux estate, and Tori and Darcy are like, what the fuck? This place is big. Caleb's like, you should see my house.
But then they're also like, hey, you have a mansion of your own. You just haven't seen it. It's a palace. Literally a palace.
Caleb specifically was the one who was like, technically your house is bigger than ours. And of course the other heirs are like, don't remind them of that. It's not their house. So then they go in. Everything is gold. Pure gold.
Of course.
And
Comically so. I like imagine the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom gold. You know what I mean?
my image of this house is the most gaudy thing ever.
It's probably hideous. Oh, if you've ever played Animal Crossing, which I know you two haven't, there is a gold set of furniture you can get in the older Animal Crossing. Ugliest fucking furniture set of all time, but you can have a whole house of gold. But it is hideous. That's what I'm imagining.
Lovely. This is getting ahead, but all the fucking dragons. I get that he's a dragon and he thinks that they're superior, but does he have to put them on everything?
Of course.
Well, especially the one, was it like eating a Pegasus or something?
Yeah, the photo.
It locally reminds me of Caesar's palace or some shit, like old school intimidation methods, you know what I mean? Like walking into like the emperor's palace and all of his shit is on display.
And then we meet like the most adorable little. Actually, reminds me of Luna Lovegood's dad a little bit.
Oh, Jerry's dad. Jer Bear, sorry.
So the heirs are announced. Mommy and Daddy Acrux are announced, which I have to say, I was reminded of something. I love that Tori calls him Daddy Acrux
Daddy Warbucks, kind of.
in the most disrespectful way possible. There is another character that will eventually call him Daddy, and
Oh God, Stella?
she doesn't call him Daddy. Yeah, I want to puke, and it's hard to listen to.
Mildred?
Daddy.
Stop! Oh my god. Christy's on fire tonight.
The heirs bow to Mommy and Daddy Acrux. Then Orion's announced. He bows lower, calls them aunt and uncle, and then we get the twins announced. And of course they use the wrong names, and they correct him, and they don't bow. There's this like standoff. And Lionel's like, no, you have to use the names that were given to you by the king. And she's like, well, I hear the king's an asshole, so let's not do things his way.
But they continuously mess up their names and do it intentionally.
And I love that she's like, you can call us those. We'll call you Barry and see how you like it.
Tori is consistently brave. She is the brave one.
I honestly thought Lionel was going to explode. And then, of course, Catalina breaks the tension. What do y'all think about her and Orion?
Oh God, it's so creepy.
Ew.
It's so creepy.
So creepy. I felt bad for Orion.
I mean, I get the impression that they're maybe somewhat the same age, but
I don't know about that.
He's 25 at this point.
yeah, but I figured so was she.
Well, her son is 18. No, he's 19 at this point.
So I think she's at least in her 40s.
I don't know. I could see Daddy Warbucks, like, hitting the schools.
I get why you would say that.
She would have literally had to be like 5. Not really 5.
But logistically, she has to be at least 40, I would think. But yeah, it's just gross. And I feel bad because if you think about it, it's even grosser because he grew up there. He grew up there. Ew.
Mommy. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. It's really gross.
Orion and Acrux, they're close families, so Darius and Lance grew up together.
Lance, are you okay? Blink if you need help. Like, seriously, that's disgusting.
What did y'all think of her use of her earth magic with the dress?
Oh, I thought that was cool.
I thought that was cool too.
That's pretty cool. What a shame it's used on her. Yeah, I hope that Darcy and Tori do that, something like that. That'd be cool. It's giving air of fire. It's giving fire dress. You know what I mean?
Hunger Games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody goes to the council meeting. Here's where Lionel throws something at her that I think Tori kind of stumbles on, and it's the, as long as you know that just because you're fucking my son doesn't mean you can marry him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't expect him to say that, but also I can't blame the man. It does look like that sometimes.
The funny thing is he hasn't seen them interact, though.
Right.
All he knows is that these girls came to his house for the first time, and he picks Tori to say that to, of all people.
I assumed it was because of the way he saw them interacting as they walk in.
Could be, though she tells him off a couple times. He calls her Roxy, and she's like, didn't you listen?
You're talking about Darius?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's sexual tension at its finest. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
He probably does sense the sexual tension between them. He also thinks that, he's just so fine that everybody wants to fuck a dragon.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
I hate Lionel. I hate that I have to share a star sign with him. I hate it. Although I do share the star
He's an
signs.
Aries?
He's an Aries. Will Vega was also an Aries, though, so at least I got that. I get Savage King and...
Yeah, I get Caleb. I don't think there's any other
Who do I
Tauri.
get? Are there any Virgos?
Not yet that we know of, that I know of. Are there any Virgo characters? There should be.
Catalina Acrux.
Seriously?
Playing Nova.
Really? Oh my god.
The authors are Virgo haters.
Formally protest.
You also get Eugene Dipper, who is a character from...
Eugene.
the Ruthless Boys. He's a rat shifter. And he is like Colin Creevy.
No, honey, I'm sorry. Why did they do this? I think I only get
Screw
Caleb,
you,
though.
authors.
I mean, like, realistically, which characters are good besides the Vega twins, though, I guess? Like, if you really think about it.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Oh, who else?
Huh?
Oh, I thought there was somebody else.
Oh, no,
I said,
she's...
what characters are good, and she said, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Where were we? Okay, so the council meeting, other than that, goes pretty fine. They're like, what do you want with your claim? And they're like, we don't want the crown.
Hated that they said that, though.
You
It
hate
felt
that
like
the
they
Vega
made
twins said
something
that?
official. They said they don't want the crown. It was in a council meeting.
The thing, though, is, according to Caleb, I think something that he said in part 1 of this book, it doesn't matter how often they say it. They could literally, as long as they can prove that they're the most powerful, they could take the throne whenever they want.
Okay.
I think they're just trying to threaten them with the council meeting.
It's more of a, like, we need to assess whether or not we need to kill you. See how sincere you are about not wanting that throne. Then they head to the most boring party ever, and they meet Haymitch.
Haymitch is so goofy.
I love him.
So Christy, did you feel like reading his character, now you understand how silly Geraldine sounds? Because his little sayings are like even worse than hers.
Oh, yeah. But he was so adorable. So adorable.
I love that he's like, excuse my language. And I'm like, that's like stumping your toe and going, darn, and then going, oh, I'm sorry.
It's like you said pumpernickel pickles or something. Like, chill out, dude.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and okay, so I already told this to Lily, but you remember how I said everybody gets a love interest?
Does he?
Haymitch gets one too.
Oh my god. That's really
It's not
weird.
Stella, is it? Is it? Oh, shit. I was
I didn't
joking.
say anything.
Can you imagine if it's Stella?
I'm gonna have to look up and looking stuff up.
There is only one true love in Stella's life.
Money.
Interesting. I'm scared. I didn't really really want Stella to be this big of a part of the book.
Oh, she plays a part.
Oh, good.
Hamish is the man from the picture, so they're like, oh, well, we found him. And they try to corner him later. Darcy sees Orion trying to escape Catalina, which I love. And then Max kind of finds the girls and takes them to a smoking room where the other heirs are. And in steps Mildred Canopus, who, as y'all pointed out, her last name is literally Can of Puss or Piss.
Sorry, girl. Yeah, she's intense.
I told y'all you wouldn't like her.
If she hadn't rounded on the girls, I might have liked her.
Yeah.
Like, for tearing at the boys.
She might have been alright.
Yeah.
She literally thinks that because she's a dragon, she's superior to everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. And you notice how she said, when Darius and I claim our throne, not all 4 of them. Which, by the way, I do have to mention this since the palace has been introduced. Remember how I said the 4 of them will share a metaphorical throne? Well, there's an actual throne, too.
Makes sense.
Although, it was funny the difference between her smart-assing everybody else and then her hubbykins.
He's like literally trying not to cry in the corner.
She goes to kiss him, and he's like, none to the ring.
He's like, I'm saving myself.
Max is literally laughing his butt. Oh, man. And I'm just, how Lionel could do this to Darius.
Terrible. Terrible. What a punishment.
It's not any worse than any of his other punishments, but...
Are you talking about Mildred or the beating?
Mildred and the beating.
Mildred and the beating are both punishments, but if you had to choose, I think I would choose Mildred, even though she has a mustache and uneven jaw. And she's also got a superiority complex, but also an inferiority complex to the male dragons. I love that Max is like, she's dressed in Cinderella's pumpkin carriage because she's wearing an orange dress.
You can definitely see that in your mind, like the ugliest person you know dressed as a giant pumpkin, and then she blasts fire at them, and they finally kind of like fight back a little.
Yes, that reminds me, like, she flashed dragon fire at them, literally attempted to kill them because up to this point they couldn't do shields.
Yeah.
So had they not had that air class, she would have killed them, and they all sat back.
Or at least maimed them, yeah. We don't know how big that dragon fire was, but still, yeah.
And it's just, and nobody said anything about, yeah, you can't do that.
They're probably afraid of Mildred.
You're embarrassed by Mildred. So then the twins leave, and they meet somebody called Gus Vulpecula. I like to call him Mr. Pecker.
Okay, he reminded me of Lucian for some reason when they first started talking, and then they revealed that he was like a fox shifter. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Also, I thought he was going to be a good guy. He fooled me. He fooled me for a minute.
Yeah.
I got excited to meet an interesting character that wasn't an asshole.
His special power is that he makes people trust him and open up to him, and that's why he's a fucking reporter.
Yeah, it's rude as fuck. Rude as fuck. I'm not ready to read the fallout of that because we're going to get it in the third half of the book, I'm assuming. Yeah, not excited for that report.
Let's just say that in Solaria, in the Fae world, there is no First Amendment. Reporters don't necessarily have to prove their facts. They can make up whatever shit they want.
Believe that shit.
All they do is talk about the fall party and what the heirs did to them when Orion comes and chases them off.
My knight in shining armor.
And Orion realizes that Lionel set them up to have this reporter talk to them.
But I thought he went after the guy.
He sort of does, yeah.
But we
don't
never
get
hear.
to see it.
Yeah, we never hear if he caught him or not.
The twins go after Hamish and ask him about Clara, and we get to learn sort of what happened to her.
Yeah, about Orion's sister, which it still seems a bit unclear, but we do find out that she's gone and that it seems to be a mysterious accident of some kind.
She disappeared, and the last known sighting of her was at Acrex Manor.
But didn't I get... Because I know, and it may be jumping ahead just a little bit, but when they overhear Stella and Lionel in their business meeting, it kind of felt like that she was part of that. Like they were trying something on her to make her into something, and it failed.
It is very much implied that they did some kind of ritual at the lunar eclipse. Mm-hmm. And the ritual failed, and Stella blames it on Clara for not being good enough.
Okay, so just a thought, throwing it out there. What if they are turning one fae that they think they can control into nymphs, and that she is the nymph, but that's why she could also shapeshift?
Remind me of
Scary
that
thought.
theory next book, at the end of that book.
All right.
Next book will have a lunar eclipse.
So I guess we'll see. Because then
If
she
I'm
says,
horribly wrong.
then she says something about why didn't we just use Orion?
Yeah.
And then they say they're going to use someone else.
She was perfectly fine with the potential of Orion dying. But yeah, so they're looking for a very specific person to make this ritual work. And apparently Clara wasn't that person.
Interesting. So I guess we'll have to wait to see. It's not, and I'm assuming it's not going to be resolved at the end of this book.
And no, they said that the lunar eclipse is around the reckoning, so it'll happen next book. We'll get the lunar eclipse.
Lance seems to be the only one who mourned her loss.
So Stella gives no help to the FIB. The Acruxes don't give any help. And Hamish says that Orion seems to be the only one who is devastated by her loss.
It's Darcy that ends up overhearing this, right?
No, actually, Orion.
No, I mean later when Darcy is,
Behind the statue?
yeah, after.
Later, Orion, after the pool scene, they will talk about Clara a little bit, and he takes her to see the picture of her. And then Orion hears something, and then we get his POV when he goes and
that's
overhears
That's
Mommy and...
Yeah, you're right. Which, let's talk briefly about that pool scene because goddamn. Oh shit, yeah.
Tori's been drinking lots of champagne. Darius asks Tori to dance, but she declines. And then she runs into Xavier, and they have a cute little conversation.
This is my favorite part of the book, so far.
I was just saying.
So far. Even though the other smutty fun scenes are in there, I think Xavier is possibly my favorite character.
Better than the Caleb chapter.
Yes, I just love seeing, I don't know, Xavier was just so funny to me. I was like, oh, he's so pure. Like, I just want him to like, he's just so pure and I just think he's so funny. He's like, what? Fuck the dragons. Dragons aren't even that cool, bro.
What's so cool about them anyway?
I just loved that. I don't know. It was just a fun change of pace a little bit for the characters.
And when Tori asks him his name and he's like, what, you don't know? She's like, oh shit, dude, are you famous?
Oh my goodness. He was like, think about it a little harder. And then he was like, you really don't like my brother, do you? And then she was like, is this the part where I say something terrible about him? And he's right behind me. And Xavier's just like,
She's like, okay, not to disappoint.
yeah, that was a fun scene. And then we get the...
Darius takes her to get a sandwich from the servant, and then they get into a little fight over her saying thank you.
Good lord.
Fucking Darius. I mean, I love him, but...
He needs to learn.
He needs to be taken down a little bit.
So then Darius, Tori tries to leave, and Darius takes her to see his collection of motorcycles.
Just like I predicted. I was like, oh, she's gonna lose it whenever she sees the bikes. But she didn't steal one. Not
She
yet.
didn't really get a chance.
Yeah, not yet.
And they're the Yama Harpy and the Harley Dragonson.
So ridiculous.
But I like that they explain that they intentionally name them stupid stuff, like when they pull them over.
And they
So
steal
silly.
them from the mortal world. They coerce the humans into giving them good deals. And so after he invites her on a little race around the track, and
Disappointed we didn't get that.
yeah, she was like, sorry, I'm a little tipsy and I don't have any clothes to be riding. Of course, he offers his and she's like, that's taking off too much clothes for us.
But then guess who walks in?
Fucking Lionel.
Yep.
And he, yet again, if you're gonna screw her, do it on your own time. I hate him. Tori insults him and calls him an oversized iguana.
Yes, that was great.
Amazing.
Too bad it ends up in a beating for Darius.
It's worth it.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. I don't really like that part about the book. I mean, granted, Darius can be kind of a piece of shit, but I don't appreciate that.
Not only does Darius get the beating, but Orion is drawn to protect him, and so he also suffers the beating as well. And as this is happening, Darcy's wandering the mansion, and she happens to overhear some things and hides behind a statue. And Orion calls her out. coerces her out of hiding.
He's like, you know you're over there.
And it sounds too like they didn't realize, for Lionel, he didn't realize that that was going to be a result, that Orion would have to protect his son, even against him.
He knows, but I don't think he thought it through. Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounded like he didn't think about that part of it, that was perhaps a little bit of a surprise, like an unwelcome surprise.
Yeah, you'll find out later, Lionel is got this superiority complex to the point where sometimes he does not think that anybody could even think about doing something against him. He's
so full of it. He's full of it.
Arrogant to the extreme. So then, of course, we get to meet Della. What did y'all think of her?
She's delightful. Delightful.
I love that Orion hates her. He's like, I'm not even gonna ever call her mom ever again. She's just Stella.
Poor Orion. I feel bad about all of their parents, honestly.
Oh, I guess we didn't talk about it. What were your impressions of the heirs' moms? You got...
Of course, Seth's mother is fucking wacky.
Yeah, so that's Antonio Capella. There is Melinda Altair, Caleb's mom.
She seems kind of classy.
Yeah.
In a weird way. You know, like classically vampire, too.
And I forget Max's dad's name.
I can't remember, but they seemed actually nice to an extent.
Yeah.
I know his stepmother's name is Linda.
Really? Linda? All right.
Linda. Family. Tiberius.
Tiberius. That's why I can remember.
That's a good, strong name.
So we have Tiberius as Max's dad.
Yeah, they're interesting. They seem to be more caring and loving to their kids, but I'm still wary of them.
So Orion.
Yeah, so let's talk about this.
Takes Darcy to the pool.
The way he just started stripping.
They have a drink, and then he's like, let me take off all my clothes.
And Darcy's like, am I hallucinating?
Sir? And he's like, don't do that.
He's like, oh yeah, we get another, don't look at me like that. It's like, the tension.
Yeah, he dives into the pool. He's down there for too long.
She's like, where'd he go?
She forgets that he has air and water magic, and is like, did you drown?
And then he just like grabs her. You can just imagine. Oh, the way I would have panicked.
Yeah, it creates a little world under the pool.
Dude, I'd lose my mind. It just is so much better. I'm sorry. It's so much better than the Caleb moment. Okay, Caleb is hot. Great. Like, so happy for Tori. But something about Darcy and Orion is different.
Yeah.
Because Orion seems to actually be interested in her as a person in a weird way.
That it's not just about the sex.
Yeah, Caleb kind of just wants to fuck her, it seems. I mean, what do you guys think? No? Okay.
I can't say.
I felt the same way. That I felt like it was more... it felt more like he wanted a relationship with her versus Caleb just wants to fuck Tori.
And even Tori afterwards is like, oh yeah, I mean, like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
We were just fucking.
But that was the other thing too. Because he says something to the effect about her hair, like the blue. And it makes it sound like some information he got, a prophecy or whatever you would call it, that the stars give, that if the blue was connected, then...
What?
He says it damn, I should have the book back here. Some way, somehow, like, oh, well, since the blue is no longer there, then...
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up and see. This is where I just want to let everyone, all the listeners, know that this ebook fucking sucks because none of the chapters are numbered. Okay, it says, there is a moment in his chapter where it says, I rounded onto the landing, focusing on what I'd heard and trying to force the girl with blue hair from my head. It's not blue anymore, idiot. Wake up and smell the goddamn roses. This was never meant to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
You think those were tied together?
I felt like that something about the blue hair and now the missing blue hair meant...
As in, because she doesn't have blue hair anymore, it's not prophesied?
Yeah, something like that.
I just took that as
He calls her blue.
He's calling her blue, but she doesn't have blue anymore. He's like, wake up, her hair's not blue anymore, you can't call her that. And he's like, we weren't supposed to be together. But I didn't think that it had anything to do with it being blue hair.
Yeah. It was just kind of a weird statement connected to the blue. It almost felt like, well, if it was still there, then they would be...
Think of it this way. So when I was in Armstrong, I had a crush on one of the basketball players.
Ooh.
and I'd literally volunteer and go do photography so that I could see him. And I would be taking pictures of the game, and then I'll look over and he was staring at me. And I'd have to be like, nope, Brittany, he wasn't staring at you. You're reading too much into this. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
him kind of trying to convince himself there was nothing there, that, it's not what it's his feelings are guiding him the wrong way.
When in reality, that's not the truth. There's definitely something there, and they should be together forever. But yeah, I don't know if they were tied, but I see upon rereading it why you thought that.
Yeah, and maybe like visually reading it, just because it felt connected to the blue. So it was like, oh, wait a minute. It felt like, oh, in the prophecy was there something that said blue, and now that there's no blue, well, now you can't be together.
Yeah, like visually reading it is different, because when they deliver it through an audiobook, it doesn't sound that way. They're like separate statements in a way,
I love this moment where he took a drink of his bourbon and she was like, it was becoming a trigger. Like the moment I walked into his office and he uncorked a bottle, it made me want to taste it on his mouth. And then that led to me wondering whether his fangs would brush my tongue when we kiss. And that always led to me mentally undressing him.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Darcy.
Me conjuring an image of what those muscles looked like beneath his shirt.
Yeah, I feel her there, but also...
I will say, high school, there was one teacher who was really cute. Not enough for me to, picture mentally undressing him, but I did enjoy his class more.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I really loved the scene with Orion and Darcy, and I felt like they got somewhere. And even him saying aloud, "We can never be together," was like acknowledging we both have these feelings between us, and we both know it. And up to this point, they've been dancing around it. So I thought that was, I don't know, I really liked that chapter.
He was like, up there are 1,000 reasons why we can't be together. The main one being you'd go to jail, motherfucker.
Oh my God. Star-crossed lovers, I guess. Yeah, but then after that, he overhears Lionel and Stella.
He also gives her back her hair. And he's like, I know you would have gotten this yourself, but I took great pleasure in retrieving it for you.
Something about that man. That was interesting. I'm surprised that he did that.
And the kiss. It's a good kiss.
It's a real good kiss.
But yes, then they leave the pool after they both agree, we're not going to talk about this anymore. It's never going to happen again.
Poor Darcy.
Okay, how many times in a TV show or a book have two characters agreed, this is never going to happen again?
And it actually never happens again.
No, this is only a catalyst.
Buffy, an angel.
Oops, spoiler. Rude. No, I'm just kidding.
Then she asks him about Clara. He takes her to see a picture. He rushes off because he hears something upstairs.
And she picks up the picture.
And beneath the picture is yet another tarot card, which says, do not underestimate the beast who shadows you. He is the ultimate power ruling over your lives and the lives of many others. Beware of his lies. The answer to your question will be revealed on the lunar eclipse, but when finding the truth, don't let the shadows take you. Falling star. Again with the shadows.
And now the lunar eclipse, just like we heard them talking about.
And what answers are they gonna get? To what questions? I'm sure they have a million.
Oh, wait, I think I know.
What?
I don't want to say. No.
It's supposed to be like a guessing part, though.
I think it's their order forms.
She thinks they'll find out their order forms on the lunar eclipse. All right. So Orion is heading upstairs. He's berating himself for being in love with Darcy. And then he overhears Mommy Dearest getting it on with Lionel.
Oh, so terrible.
Lionel, really?
Yeah, like, gosh, it's disgusting. Also, I was just surprised.
You want to hear something more disgusting?
No.
She calls him her lion.
Ew.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's enough. I don't need to know more.
But yes, I thought the same thing when I was reading this the first time. Like, who has the ability to have full-on conversation in the middle of sex?
I don't think it's the ability. I think it's the lack of sexual prowess that allows the other person to talk business.
Okay, and I hate to say this, but the way I pictured this scene is literally she's just lying there and he's fucking her.
See, I pictured the other, that she was on top.
Oh, I cannot
I also pictured her on top.
see Lionel letting anybody top him.
I think we were imagining him as lazy.
I mean, I could see him leaning back, hands back, like, I'm
Like,
king.
all right, you do it
You
for me.
service me.
Yeah.
But as far as him just laying there and letting her do that, especially when he's like, I can hear the headboard bending up. I picture her just laying there and him railing her, and them just being like, oh yeah, by the way, our plans are this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
But they reveal some things that are important, which we have talked about.
Orion zooms off to go tell Darius.
Who, as a matter of fact, ends up interrupting at the end of Tori and Caleb, which I think was my favorite part of that chapter. Which, don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed it because I think Caleb was cool. But one, I was surprised they ended up actually having sex. And two, I just felt like there wasn't that much connection between them compared to Darcy and Orion. I don't know.
What'd you think of their hunting game?
Oh, yeah,
That was funny.
the feral kink. Yeah. You know what? I like that.
And you get the feeling because she acted like she did it so she'd have a chance of not being bitten. And I was like, it kind of seems like you want to be caught.
I agree.
So she first hid in Daddy A. Crux's office, and he comes in and is like on the phone.
Did dragons not have good smelling? Like they can't smell decently?
No, but there's been a couple of times where even the vampires, when Tori was hiding in the woods, she was close enough to overhear him. I would think that Caleb should have been close enough to hear her heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because Tori makes a mention of it here, where when Caleb kisses her on the cheek, her heart spikes. And Orion looks at her like he could hear it.
Yeah.
And it's a little, what's the word? Inconsistent.
Yeah, that kind of feels a little bit like with Twilight. Same thing, where you would have these, where one book would contradict another. But yeah, I felt like that because it was like.
But only the vampires have the enhanced hearing, enhanced strength, and enhanced speed, as far as I'm aware.
It's very overpowered.
Dragons would at least sniff. I mean, some sense of animalistic.
They're too full of their fire, which random thought again that's off. We got to read about Darius's smell, though I don't know if either one of you picked it up.
I did not. So we finally got another smell, but it's Darius.
When she goes into his room to burn it down, she's like, it smells like smoke and cedar in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just assumed.
I thought it was the furniture.
Same, because she was burning it.
Okay, so cedar and cinnamon.
Cedar and cinnamon.
He's smoking cedar, actually, though. It's weird. He gets both of those. And Orion is just cinnamon. And I did note that Caleb gets a smell, but it's masculine. So
I'm just saying, I think that means something.
So sweat.
Sweat.
Masculine smell of sweat. Yum.
So Caleb comes in, chases her into the pool room, and they get it on Daddy A. Crook's pool table. Or poker table, not pool table. And then, of course, Darius does walk in at the very end.
I was like, Darius is gonna be pissed, dude.
Even though Caleb wrapped vines around the door to keep it shut, put a silencing bubble up, and Darius burns through it.
I think that says some things.
That he can sense him in some, yeah.
I feel like he knew Tori was in there.
So you were very upset about Orion biting Tori.
Yes, I was.
How do you feel about Tori sleeping with Caleb? Since you don't think that that's her end game.
I feel bad for Darius a little bit. But also, I don't think that any claims have been made besides Caleb's. So I don't think it's that bad yet.
And Orion.
Right, yeah, and Orion. But I mean, as far as Tori goes, Darius has not stuck his neck out to say anything about his interests. So I mean, I feel like they can have sex. There's no strings attached right now. Now, will Darius be upset about it? Yes. Will this go on for a little bit? Yes.
I love that when Darius came to get him, Caleb's like, dude, I'm busy.
Literally. He's like, hello, bro, there's a sock on the door. Fuck. Can't you see we're fucking busy in here? Darius is like, yeah, I'm coming in.
He says, well, stop playing with your food and get on with it.
Awful. So awful.
But they do have to leave because it's the counselors who want to see their children before they leave. So he sends Tori out to Darcy, and Darcy's waiting with Orion. And they get together, and Tori's like, Darcy, I have something to say to you, but Orion has to go. And Orion's just like, okay, whatever.
And Darcy looks at Tori like, I know what you did.
I'll walk 2 steps steps away and over here anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that Darcy's like, you're not slick. You don't even have to tell me. I know what you did. I know.
Didn't she ask, who'd you sleep with? Or something.
She said, well, I'm guessing this bit of fun has a name. And then she's like, Tori is an heir!
Tori? How could you?
I mean, I get it. He's stupidly hot.
And then Orion's like, bitch, excuse me?
Orion clears his throat and scowls.
That's basically bitch, excuse me.
So then Darius comes down and he wants to talk to Tori, and he's like, can we have a word?
Scolds her for talking to Lionel.
Scolds her for calling him an oversized iguana. Well, he's like, you're lucky he didn't kill you. And I think she is, honestly, because she doesn't realize how Lionel is. Could he get away with it at this point? Probably not. It's probably the only reason why he didn't. Because he does like people to think good things of him. He beats his son in private.
Right.
He puts on a smile in front of other people. Ugh. And then she calls him out on having blood on his clothes, and he gets all grumpy.
Oh, yeah. I feel bad for Darius. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And then he was like, do you hate me? She's like,
Oh, that was kind of a little heartbreaking. Even though they're
Yeah.
assholes, that part was kind of...
Well, this is where you have to be reminded that, like, these guys have been such assholes to them, but then the fucking book gets to you, dude.
it does.
It gets you. You're like, oh, Darius. Poor baby.
To hate you, I'd have to care about you, and I
Damn,
don't
Tori.
give one shit about you.
Damn, Tori. That's worse. Indifferent is worse.
And that's the end of this session.
So that wraps up the second part of Book 2, the Zodiac Academy series, Ruthless Fae. Next episode, we're going to be discussing chapters 26 through 37, and our new episodes will hopefully be dropping every Tuesday at midnight.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to be able to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.